On a distant planet, far from Earth, strange sounds echoed through the dense forests. The air was thick with the scent of alien flowers, and the sky was painted with unusual colors. This was a place where humans were seen as dangerous creatures. The native species, called the Varnis, had tales of humans being fierce predators, lurking in the shadows, ready to attack. One sunny day, a human explorer named Alex found himself crashing onto this mysterious planet. His ship, once a shining star in the sky, was now a twisted heap of metal, smoking and broken. Alex stumbled out of the wreckage, his heart racing with fear and confusion. He had heard rumors about this planet before his mission, but nothing could prepare him for the reality. As he looked around, Alex realized he was not alone. The Varnis were watching him from behind the trees. Their skin shimmered like scales, and they had large, curious eyes. They were small but quick, and their movements were silent as they observed the stranger in their land. They whispered among themselves, their voices a mix of fear and intrigue. Alex felt a knot in his stomach. He knew that humans were not welcome here, but he also knew he needed to find shelter and help. He took a deep breath and decided to move cautiously through the forest, keeping his eyes open for any signs of danger. He had to show the Varnis that he was not their enemy. As he walked, the Varnis followed him from a distance. They were unsure whether to approach or to run away. To them, Alex looked like the predator they had heard about in their stories. His tall frame and strange clothing made him seem frightening, but as he walked, Alex stumbled over a branch and fell to the ground, startling the Varnis. They gasped and retreated a few steps, their eyes wide with shock. Sitting on the ground, Alex realized that his fall might have been a good thing. It showed he was not as powerful as they believed. He looked up at the trees, then back at the watching aliens. He tried to smile, hoping to ease their fear. "I mean no harm," he called out, his voice steady but gentle. The Varnis exchanged glances, unsure of what to do. Their leader, a brave female named Lyra, stepped forward. Her heart raced, but she felt a strange pull to the human. "What do you want here?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. She had always been taught that humans were dangerous, but something about Alex intrigued her. "I crashed here by accident," Alex explained, still on the ground. "I need help to fix my ship and get back home. I promise I won't hurt anyone." He hoped his words would convince them that he was not the monster they thought he was. The other Varnis whispered among themselves, their fear slowly giving way to curiosity. Lyra, despite her fears, took a step closer. "We have heard stories of humans," she said cautiously. "Why should we believe you?" "Because I'm just like you," Alex replied, finally standing up. "I want to survive, just like you do. I don't want to fight. I want to learn about your world." His honesty seemed to break through their fear. Lyra could see the sincerity in his eyes. She motioned for the others to come closer. "Maybe we can help you," she said, her voice gaining strength. "But we will keep an eye on you." Alex nodded, relieved. "Thank you. I won't let you down." He felt a sense of hope. This was the first step towards building a bridge between their worlds. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the forest, the Varnis led Alex to their village. It was a beautiful place, filled with colorful plants and glowing lights. The village was alive with activity, and Alex felt both excited and nervous. He was a stranger in a strange land, but he could see the potential for friendship. The Varnis showed him to a small hut where he could rest. As he settled in, he thought about how different his life had become in just a few hours. From a skilled explorer to a potential partner of the very beings he was supposed to fear, he wondered what tomorrow would bring. Would he be able to gain their trust? Could he prove that humans were not predators, but partners? That night, as he lay on a simple bed made of soft leaves, Alex listened to the sounds of the forest. He felt a mix of fear and excitement about what lay ahead. The Varnis had taken a chance on him, and he knew he had to show them they were right to trust him. He closed his eyes, determined to start fresh in this new world and prove that even the most feared beings could become allies. The first step of their journey had begun, and it was filled with uncertainty and hope. Alex was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. He was not just a human anymore. He was a part of this alien world, and perhaps, just perhaps, he could change their view of him and his kind forever. The encounter. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the alien village, casting a warm light through the leaves. Alex woke up feeling nervous but excited. The Varnis had given him a place to stay, and today he would try to prove that he was not a threat. He stretched and got ready, hoping for a good start. As he stepped outside, he was greeted by the lively sounds of the village. The Varnis were busy preparing their morning meals, and the smell of strange but delicious food filled the air. Alex watched as they moved with grace and speed, their bright scales shimmering in the sunlight. He felt a strange sense of belonging even though he was still an outsider. Lyra, the brave leader of the Varnis, approached him with a warm smile. "Good morning, human. Are you ready to help us today?" she asked. Her voice was confident, and Alex noticed that the fear from the day before had lessened in her eyes. "Yes, I am," Alex replied, feeling a rush of determination. "I want to learn about your culture and help in any way I can." He wanted to show the Varnis that he was here to be their partner, not their enemy. Lyra nodded and led him to a clearing in the village where the Varnis gathered for their morning meeting. They spoke in their musical language, but Alex could sense the energy and excitement in their voices. He felt a bit out of place, but Lyra introduced him proudly. "This is Alex, our new friend from another world. He has come to help us." The Varnis looked at him with a mix of curiosity and caution. They were still unsure about this human who had fallen from the sky. Alex could feel their eyes on him, and he swallowed nervously. He decided to show them he was different. "I may not look like you, but I want to learn," he said, his voice steady. "I can help with anything you need, whether it's gathering food or fixing things. I want to be part of this community." Some of the Varnis whispered to each other, still doubtful. They had always been taught to fear humans, and this new experience was challenging their beliefs. Lyra looked at Alex and then turned to her people. "Let us give him a chance," she said firmly. "We will show him our ways, and he will show us his." With that, the Varnis began to go about their daily tasks. Lyra showed Alex how they gathered fruits from the tall trees. They used special tools made from glowing stones that allowed them to reach the highest branches. Alex watched closely, trying to understand their methods. He was determined to impress them. As they worked, Alex noticed that the Varnis were skilled at what they did. They moved quickly, climbing the trees with ease. When Alex tried to climb, he stumbled and nearly fell. The Varnis laughed lightly, their laughter ringing like soft bells in the air. Alex felt embarrassed, but smiled back. "I'm still learning," he said, chuckling at himself. After gathering fruit, they returned to the village. The Varnis began to prepare their meals, and Alex was invited to help. He was amazed at how they cooked their food using fire and strange herbs. They explained that each herb had a special meaning and purpose. Alex listened carefully, eager to absorb every detail. As they cooked, Lyra shared stories of their people, tales of bravery and friendship. Alex found himself captivated by her words. The Varnis had a rich history filled with adventures, and he realized they were not so different from humans after all. They shared a love for their home and their families. While preparing the food, Alex decided to show his appreciation. He took some of the fruits he had gathered and combined them with the Varnis herbs to create a new dish. "I hope you'll like this," he said, presenting it with a smile. The Varnis looked at him, surprised by his gesture. When they tasted the dish, their eyes widened with delight. "This is wonderful," Lyra exclaimed, her face lighting up. The other Varnis nodded in agreement, and Alex felt a surge of joy. He had taken a step forward in building trust. As the day went on, they worked together, laughing and sharing more stories. Slowly, the Varnis began to open up to Alex. They invited him to join their games, where they raced through the forest and played with small, colorful creatures. Alex joined in, feeling like a kid again. The laughter echoed around them, breaking down the walls of fear. As the sun began to set, the village gathered for a celebration. They sang songs and danced, welcoming Alex as one of their own. He watched in awe as the Varnis moved gracefully, their bodies flowing with the music. He felt honored to be included in this moment. Lyra approached him and smiled. "You have earned our trust, Alex. You are no longer just a human. You are our friend." Alex felt warmth in his heart. He had come to this planet as a stranger, but now he was beginning to feel at home. That night, as they shared stories under the stars, Alex realized that this was only the beginning of their journey together. He had to continue proving himself, but he was ready for the challenge. Together, he and the Varnis would face whatever came their way. In this new world, he had found hope, friendship, and a sense of belonging. Misunderstandings. The sun shone brightly on the alien village as Alex woke up feeling hopeful. His first days with the Varnis had gone well, and he felt he was slowly becoming part of their community. Lyra and the other Varnis had welcomed him, and together they shared laughter, food, and stories. However, Alex knew that there were still challenges ahead. Trust was fragile, and one mistake could easily break it. That day, Lyra invited Alex to help her gather more food in the forest. The Varnis had taught him how to pick fruits and identify the edible plants. Alex was eager to learn more. As they walked deeper into the woods, the vibrant colors of the trees and plants surrounded them. The sounds of chirping creatures filled the air, and Alex felt a sense of peace. While they worked, Alex noticed Lyra's keen eye for details. She moved with grace, selecting only the ripest fruits. Inspired, he tried to mirror her movements. "I want to help as much as I can," he said, reaching for a particularly high branch. But as he stretched, he lost his balance and tumbled to the ground, sending a shower of fruit cascading around him. The Varnis nearby gasped in surprise, their eyes wide with concern. "Alex," Lyra called out, rushing to his side. "Are you hurt?" The worry in her voice was clear. "No, I'm fine," he laughed, brushing off leaves and fruit. But the Varnis were not laughing. They looked frightened, and Alex realized they might see his fall as something dangerous. In their culture, clumsiness could be a sign of weakness. As they continued gathering food, Alex tried to show them he was strong. He climbed higher into the trees, determined to impress them. He grabbed a few fruits and reached for more, but his foot slipped and he fell again. This time, he landed near a small group of Varnis who had been watching. They shrieked and backed away, fear flashing in their eyes. "Wait, I'm not trying to scare you," Alex exclaimed, feeling embarrassed. "I just want to help." He quickly got to his feet, but the Varnis had retreated, whispering among themselves. Alex could see their unease growing. Lyra stepped forward, her face serious. "Alex, they think you are trying to harm them. They have seen too many humans in stories attacking their kind. You need to be careful." Her voice was gentle but firm. "I didn't mean to scare them," Alex replied, feeling frustrated. "I just want to prove I'm not a predator. I'm on their side." He wanted to show them he could be trusted, but each mishap seemed to push them further away. As they finished gathering food, Lyra noticed a group of Varnis standing apart, looking worried. "Alex, let's talk to them," she suggested. "We need to clear up the misunderstandings." Together, they walked over to the group. The Varnis stared at Alex with suspicion. One of them, a small alien with bright blue scales, spoke up. "Why do you fall? Do you not know how to climb?" His voice was sharp, and Alex could hear the doubt in it. "I'm learning. I'm not used to climbing trees like you," Alex explained, trying to sound calm. "I'm not trying to show weakness. I want to help." But the more he spoke, the more the Varnis frowned. Lyra interjected, "He is not a predator. He wants to be our friend. He has been helping us." She looked at the others, hoping they would understand. "We must learn to trust him, just as he is learning to trust us." The Varnis exchanged glances, unsure of what to think. They had grown up hearing tales of humans as ruthless creatures, and now one stood before them, looking sincere but clumsy. Alex could feel the tension in the air, and his heart sank. He had to find a way to show them he was not a threat. "Maybe we can work together on something more," Alex suggested, his mind racing. "How about I help you with building?" He remembered seeing their huts and wanted to show he could contribute in a meaningful way. Lyra nodded. "That's a good idea. Let's build a new storage place for our food." She turned to the Varnis. "This will show you that Alex can help us in ways that are safe." Reluctantly, the Varnis agreed. They gathered materials, and Alex watched carefully as Lyra and the others showed him how to construct a small shelter. They worked together, sharing ideas and laughter. With each nail he hammered and each branch he placed, Alex felt his connection with them growing. As the day went on, the Varnis began to warm up to him. They saw him working hard, and their doubts started to fade. Lyra smiled at Alex, clearly pleased with how things were progressing. "You see, working together helps us understand each other better." By the end of the day, they stood back to admire their work. The new storage hut was sturdy and bright, a mix of human and Varnis design. "We did it." Alex cheered, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The Varnis looked at each other and nodded, their smiles returning. The misunderstandings of the morning seemed to fade away. Alex realized that building something together was a strong step forward. As night fell, the village gathered to celebrate their hard work. They sang songs, and for the first time, Alex felt truly accepted. Misunderstandings had almost ruined his chances, but now he had a chance to show his worth. In this new world, Alex learned that patience and hard work could change hearts and minds, and with the Varnis by his side, he was ready to face whatever came next. Building trust. The next day dawned bright and clear over the alien village. Alex woke up feeling hopeful. The day before had gone well, and he sensed that the Varnis were starting to see him as a friend. Trust was a fragile thing, but he was determined to keep building it. After a quick breakfast, Alex met Lyra at the new storage hut they had built together. The sun shone down, illuminating their work and giving the village a warm, inviting glow. "Good morning, Alex." Lyra greeted him with a bright smile. "Are you ready to help us today?" "Yes. What can I do?" Alex replied, eager to contribute. He knew he needed to show them he could be useful, and he wanted to help in any way possible. Lyra thought for a moment. "Today, we will gather more food and work on planting our new garden. It will help us prepare for the future." She explained that the garden would be a vital source of food, especially during the dry season. "Sounds great. I'll do my best," Alex said, feeling excitement bubbling inside him. As they set off into the forest, he couldn't help but feel a sense of purpose. He was no longer just a stranger. He was part of something bigger. As they walked, Lyra explained how to prepare the soil for planting. The Varnis had special tools made from strong, glowing stones, which they used to dig and till the earth. Alex watched carefully, absorbing everything she showed him. "Here, try this." Lyra handed him one of the tools. "It's simple. Just dig into the ground and break it up." Alex took the tool and tried to mimic her movements. At first, he struggled to get the hang of it, but Lyra encouraged him. "You can do it. Just keep practicing," she said with a supportive smile. The warmth in her eyes made Alex feel more confident. He focused on his task, determined to get it right. As they worked together, Alex and Lyra chatted and laughed. He asked her about her life in the village, and she shared stories about her family and friends. He learned that the Varnis were deeply connected to their land, and each plant and creature held a special place in their hearts. The more he listened, the more he appreciated their way of life. After a while, they took a break. Lyra pointed out the nearby river, its clear waters glistening under the sun. "Let's go get some fresh water for our plants," she suggested. Alex nodded, excited for a chance to see more of their world. As they walked to the river, Lyra explained the importance of water for the garden. "Without it, nothing can grow," she said. Alex understood the concept well. He had always loved gardening back on Earth, but this was a new experience. At the river, they filled their containers with cool, refreshing water. Alex marveled at how clean and beautiful the river was. "It's amazing here," he said, looking around. "I can't believe I get to be part of this." Lyra smiled, clearly pleased with his enthusiasm. "We are happy to have you with us, Alex. You are learning quickly." The compliment made him feel proud. He wanted to show her that he could be a valuable member of their community. After returning to the garden, they began planting seeds together. Alex followed Lyra's instructions carefully, making small holes in the ground and placing the seeds inside. "These will grow into food for everyone," Lyra said. Her passion for her people's survival was evident, and it inspired Alex. As they worked, a group of young Varnas approached them, curious about the human who had come to their village. Alex looked up and smiled, trying to appear friendly. They watched him closely, still unsure. He remembered how they had reacted to him before, and he wanted to change their minds. "Hello," Alex called out, waving to the children. "Do you want to help us plant?" The young Varnas hesitated, exchanging glances. Finally, one brave little girl stepped forward, her eyes wide with curiosity. "I can help," she said, her voice small but filled with determination. Alex knelt down, ready to show her how to plant seeds. "Great. Here, let me show you." He demonstrated the process again, this time using simple words and gestures. The little girl watched closely, her face lighting up as she began to copy him. Soon, a few more children joined them, encouraged by their friend. They giggled and laughed, their earlier fear of the human fading away. Alex felt his heart swell with happiness. This was what he had hoped for. As they planted together, Alex made sure to include everyone. He asked questions, shared stories about Earth, and listened to the children's laughter. Their innocence reminded him of the importance of friendship. With each seed they planted, he felt the bond between them grow stronger. Lyra watched from a distance, a smile on her face. She was proud of Alex for taking the initiative to connect with the younger Varnas. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the garden, the planting session came to an end. With their work done, the Varnas gathered around Alex, excitedly discussing the seeds they had planted. "What will grow?" one of the boys asked eagerly. Alex grinned. "Lots of delicious food. We'll have fruits and vegetables in no time." The children cheered, and for the first time, Alex felt like he truly belonged. He had built a connection with the Varnas, overcoming their fears and misunderstandings. The trust he had been working so hard to build was finally starting to take shape. As they walked back to the village, Lyra turned to him. "You have done well today, Alex. The children like you now, and that is a big step." Her words filled him with pride. He realized that this journey was not just about survival. It was about friendship and trust. That night, as the village gathered to celebrate their day's work, Alex felt a warmth in his heart. He had found a place among the Varnas, and together they were building a future full of hope. As the stars twinkled above them, he knew he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Facing a threat. The days passed, and Alex continued to grow closer to the Varnas. Each morning, he woke up excited to learn more about their ways and to help in the village. He had built a strong bond with Lyra and the children, and he felt like he was finally part of the community. But little did he know that a threat loomed just beyond the forest, ready to disrupt their peaceful life. One bright morning, while Alex was helping Lyra with the garden, he noticed something strange. The birds that usually filled the trees with their cheerful songs had fallen silent. A heavy stillness settled over the village, and a sense of unease crept into the air. Lyra paused and looked around, her expression changing from joy to concern. "Alex, do you feel that?" she asked, her voice low. Alex nodded, his heart beginning to race. "Yes, something doesn't seem right. I have a bad feeling about this." Just then, a loud rustling came from the bushes nearby. The Varnis working in the garden stopped and looked towards the noise, their faces turning pale. Lyra stepped closer to Alex, instinctively seeking his protection. They all held their breath, waiting to see what would emerge. Suddenly, a creature burst from the underbrush. It was large, with sharp claws and glowing eyes. The Varnis gasped in fear. Alex recognized it as a predator that roamed the forest. It had a fierce reputation among the villagers, and now it was standing before them, ready to attack. "Stay back!" Alex shouted, instinctively stepping in front of Lyra and the others. The creature growled, baring its teeth. It looked hungry and dangerous. Alex knew he had to protect his friends, even if he was terrified himself. The Varnis were frozen in place, unsure of what to do. "We need to run," one of the young boys cried, his voice shaking. But Alex shook his head. "No, we can't just leave. If we run, it might chase us." He had learned enough about the creature to know that it was fast and fierce. Lyra grabbed Alex's arm. "But what can we do? We're not warriors. We don't know how to fight." Her eyes were wide with fear, and Alex felt a surge of determination. He needed to find a way to protect them without putting anyone in danger. "Let's scare it away," Alex suggested. "If we work together, we can make loud noises and use whatever we can find." He looked around and spotted some heavy branches nearby. "We can create a barrier and make noise to frighten it." Lyra nodded, her expression shifting from fear to resolve. "Okay, let's do it." The other Varnis started to gather sticks and stones, their earlier panic turning into focus. They were ready to fight for their home. Alex took charge, directing everyone to make as much noise as possible. He picked up a large branch and began banging it against another piece of wood, creating a loud thumping sound. The Varnis joined him, shouting and yelling, hoping to intimidate the predator. The creature stepped back, its glowing eyes narrowing. It seemed confused by the sudden noise. The Varnis continued to shout and make noise, their fear turning into courage. They had faced many dangers together before, but this was different. This time, they had a human standing with them. "Keep going," Alex encouraged, his heart pounding in his chest. "We can do this together." He could feel the energy of the Varnis around him, their determination fueling his own. As the noise grew louder, the creature hesitated. It shifted its weight from one paw to another, clearly unsure whether to attack or flee. Alex took a step forward, raising his branch high. "We won't let you harm our home. Leave now." The predator growled again, but this time, it seemed less sure of itself. It turned its head, glancing back into the forest. After a tense moment, it took a step back and then another, finally deciding to retreat into the shadows. The Varnis fell silent, watching as the creature disappeared into the trees. A wave of relief washed over them, and Alex let out a deep breath he didn't realize he had been holding. "We did it," he exclaimed, turning to Lyra and the others. "We scared it away." The Varnis erupted into cheers, their fear transformed into excitement. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining with pride. "You were brave, Alex. You protected us." She hugged him tightly, and the other Varnis joined in, wrapping their arms around him in gratitude. Alex felt a warmth spread through him, knowing he had earned their trust. But even as they celebrated, Alex knew that this threat could return. They had to be prepared. "We should strengthen our defenses," he suggested. "Let's build barriers and set up watchpoints around the village to keep an eye out for danger." The Varnis nodded in agreement, their spirits lifted by the victory. That evening, they gathered to discuss their plan. Alex shared ideas about how to protect their home, and the Varnis listened closely. They made a list of tasks, deciding who would work on what. Together, they felt stronger, united against any future threats. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the village, Alex looked around at his new friends. They had faced danger together, and he knew that this experience had brought them even closer. Trust was not built in a day, but every challenge they faced together made it stronger. The night was calm, and the stars twinkled brightly above them. Alex felt a sense of peace wash over him. He had found a family among the Varnis, and together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. With each day, they were not just surviving, they were thriving, building a new life full of hope and friendship. Forming alliances. With the threat of the predator behind them, Alex and the Varnis set to work building stronger defenses for their village. They worked together to create barriers of strong branches and stones around their home. Lyra and the children helped gather materials while Alex used his knowledge of building and design to make their village safer. Each day, their bond grew stronger as they faced challenges together. One sunny morning, while they were finishing up the last touches on their defenses, Lyra approached Alex with an idea. "I think we should reach out to the neighboring villages," she said. "If we form alliances, we can help each other in case of danger. There is strength in numbers." Alex nodded, seeing the wisdom in her words. "That's a great idea. But how do we do it?" He had never met any of the other villages, but he was eager to help Lyra and the Varnis. "We can go to the next village and ask for a meeting. They might be scared of you, but we can explain that you are our friend," Lyra suggested. Alex felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Meeting new people could be risky, but he trusted Lyra and believed in their cause. The next day, they prepared to leave for the neighboring village. Alex felt nervous, but also determined to show that he meant no harm. Lyra gathered a few of the bravest Varnis to join them, including some of the children who had quickly grown fond of Alex. As they set off, the path wound through the forest, and the sun shone brightly overhead. Lyra led the way, her confidence steadying Alex's nerves. They walked for what felt like hours, chatting and laughing, creating a sense of unity among them. Alex appreciated how easily they accepted him as part of their group. Finally, they arrived at the neighboring village. It looked different from Lyra's village, with huts made of smooth stones and colorful flowers growing all around. The Varnis there were watching them closely, their faces filled with suspicion. Alex's heart raced as he stepped forward. "Hello," he called out, waving to the villagers. "We come in peace." The Varnis exchanged glances, unsure of what to make of the human standing before them. Lyra stepped beside him, her presence calming. "This is Alex," she said, her voice strong. "He helped us against the predator. We want to form an alliance to protect each other." The villagers murmured among themselves, still wary but clearly curious. A tall Varnis stepped forward, his posture confident. "I am Rook, the leader of this village. We have heard of your presence. Many of us feared you were a threat, but if you are truly here to help, we will listen." Alex felt a sense of relief wash over him. "Yes, I want to be your friend," he said, looking into Rook's eyes. "We can learn from each other and be stronger together." The villagers seemed to relax a bit at his words, their expressions softening. After some discussion, Rook invited them to share a meal. "We will celebrate this meeting and get to know one another," he announced. As they gathered in the central area of the village, the air filled with the delicious smell of food cooking over fires. Alex was amazed at the variety of dishes, colorful fruits, and grains that filled the tables. As they ate, Alex learned more about the neighboring village. The Varnis there had their own traditions and skills, such as weaving and pottery. They shared stories of their own encounters with dangers and how they had defended their homes. Alex listened intently, absorbing their knowledge and feeling a sense of camaraderie growing between them. The children from both villages played together, their laughter ringing through the air. Alex watched as Lyra interacted with the other kids, showing them how to play some Earth games he had taught her. It warmed his heart to see them all getting along, the earlier tension forgotten. After the meal, Rook stood up, his voice carrying across the gathering. Today, we have taken a step towards unity. We must work together to protect our homes. If danger arises, we will help each other. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Alex felt a rush of hope. Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes shining with excitement. This is just the beginning. We can build a network of alliances between villages. Alex nodded, feeling inspired by her enthusiasm. He had always believed in the power of teamwork, and now he could see it taking shape in this new world. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, the villagers shared plans for the future. They discussed strategies for defense and ways to support one another in times of need. Alex offered his ideas, drawing on his experiences back on Earth. He suggested setting up a communication system between the villages, using signals to alert each other of danger. The Varnis listened closely, intrigued by his suggestions. They had never thought of such a system before, but it made sense. Together, they crafted a plan that would allow them to stay connected, no matter how far apart they were. As the stars twinkled above them, Alex felt a sense of belonging like never before. He had formed alliances not just with the Varnis of his village, but with the neighboring village as well. They were no longer just individuals facing threats alone. They were a united front, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The night ended with laughter and stories shared under the starry sky. Alex looked around, feeling grateful for this new life he had found. The Varnis had accepted him, and together they were building a community based on trust, friendship, and strength. He knew that their journey was just beginning, and he was excited to see where it would lead them next. A new beginning. The sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden light across the village as Alex prepared for a new day. Excitement filled the air as he thought about the plans they had made. With the alliances formed, he could feel a sense of hope and purpose that he had never experienced before. Together, they would build a safer future. Lyra joined him outside, her hair shimmering in the morning light. "Good morning, Alex," she called, her voice cheerful. "Are you ready for today?" "Absolutely," Alex replied, his enthusiasm matching hers. "Today, we start training together and strengthening our defenses. I think it's time we teach everyone some basic self-defense techniques." He had learned a few things during his time in the military and felt it was important to share this knowledge. The villagers gathered around as Alex explained their plan. "We will teach each other how to defend ourselves. If we all know some basic moves, we can protect our homes better," he said, his voice firm but encouraging. The Varnis listened with interest, their faces showing a mix of curiosity and determination. Lyra stepped forward. "Let's divide into groups. We can practice in pairs, so everyone has a chance to learn." The villagers quickly organized themselves, some forming pairs while others gathered to watch. Alex felt a rush of pride as he looked at the eager faces around him. He started with simple moves: how to block an attack, how to escape a hold, and how to stand strong. The Varnis picked up the techniques quickly, their natural agility and strength making it easier for them to learn. Laughter and shouts of encouragement filled the air as they practiced. After a few hours, Alex noticed that the villagers were growing more confident. They were laughing and cheering each other on, their earlier fears fading away. Lyra approached him, beaming. "You are a great teacher, Alex. Look how much they have improved." Alex smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thanks, Lyra. They are the ones who are doing all the hard work. I'm just here to guide them." The bond between Alex and the Varnis felt even stronger as they shared this experience. As the sun reached its highest point in the sky, they took a break for lunch. The villagers prepared a simple but delicious meal, sharing stories of their past and dreams for the future. Alex listened intently, amazed by their resilience and strength. They had faced so many challenges, Yet they continued to fight for their homes and loved ones. After lunch, they decided to visit the neighboring village again. Rook and the other leaders had expressed interest in learning the self-defense techniques as well. Alex thought this was a perfect opportunity to strengthen their new alliance. When they arrived, Rook greeted them warmly. "We heard about your training session. We want to join you and learn how to protect ourselves." The other villagers looked eager, their faces reflecting the same determination Alex had seen in his own village. "Of course, we'd be happy to show you what we've learned," Alex replied, feeling a rush of excitement. They set up in the central area of the village, where everyone could see and participate. As they began the training session, Alex noticed how the two groups began to blend together. Varnis from both villages practiced side by side, sharing tips and encouraging one another. The laughter echoed across the fields, creating a joyful atmosphere. Suddenly, a loud horn sounded from the forest, breaking the peace of the day. Alex's heart raced as he turned to the direction of the sound. "What was that?" he asked, a sense of urgency filling the air. Lyra looked worried. "That horn is a warning signal. It means there is danger nearby." Rook nodded, his expression serious. "We must be ready. We need to see what's happening." The villagers quickly gathered, forming a line. They had trained for moments like this, and now it was time to put their skills to the test. Alex felt a mix of fear and determination. This was the moment they had prepared for. They moved cautiously toward the sound, weapons at the ready. As they approached the edge of the forest, they saw a group of strange figures standing in the clearing. The creatures looked similar to the predator they had faced before, but were smaller and more agile. "What are those?" Alex whispered to Lyra, who squinted to get a better look. "I don't know, but they look dangerous," she replied, her voice tense. Rook stepped forward, his voice strong. "We need to confront them, but let's be smart about it. Remember what we practiced." The villagers nodded, and Alex could see the courage in their eyes. They had come too far to turn back now. With a deep breath, Rook led the charge, followed closely by Alex, Lyra, and the rest of the villagers. They moved as one, a united front ready to face the threat together. The creatures noticed them and began to growl, their eyes flashing with aggression. But this time, Alex felt prepared. He remembered the techniques they had practiced and knew they could defend their village. "Stay close. We can do this together," he shouted, his voice ringing with confidence. The confrontation was intense, but they fought with everything they had. Alex worked alongside the Varnis, blocking attacks and countering with their training. They fought not just for their homes, but for their newfound friendships and alliances. Finally, after a hard-fought battle, the creatures retreated, disappearing back into the forest. The villagers erupted in cheers, celebrating their victory. Alex felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had faced danger together and had emerged stronger. As the sun began to set, the villagers gathered in a circle, sharing stories of their bravery and celebrating their new beginning. Alex looked around, realizing that this was not just a victory for the day, but a new chapter for all of them. Together, they had formed bonds that would last a lifetime. The alliances they built would help protect their homes, and their unity would guide them through whatever challenges lay ahead. This was a new beginning for Alex and the Varnis, a chance to create a future filled with hope, friendship, and strength.